In today's podcast episode, I'm talking to gaming content creator Dom. He has the YouTube channel called Crafty Plays Lego Fortnite. He has grown from 0 to almost 25,000 subscribers in just a little more than 6 months. He has done this while becoming a father for the first time, and he is also already full-time on his channel. We're going to be talking about the ups and downs of creating content for one game and relying on this game to be popular. We are also going to be talking about how to deal with haters and whether you should be faceless or show your face on a gaming YouTube channel. Hi. Hi, Crafty. Hi, Dom. Before we begin, I'd like to give anyone who's watching this a permission to make clips, shorts, TikToks, or whatever. And I just want to hear, are you fine with this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. It's just like, that's a thing that people do. And if we are so lucky to get a couple of views, maybe some into this. But can you take like a few minutes to explain to the audience who are watching this, who are you and what it is you are doing?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Dom. So yeah, you can call me Dom instead of Crafty during this. Or it doesn't matter. Crafty's cool as well. But I just do Lego Fortnite videos. Tried to jump in on the wave. I saw one day it was like a Thursday morning, 700,000 people playing, and I said, yeah, I'm jumping in on this. I can't miss out on a game that large. But so I do content full time now. Try to take care of my family. I got a 1-year-old son. I got my girl that lives with me as well, and just trying to make this big enough to where I could really do it full time and take care of my whole family, which is the ultimate goal. But let's hope we can get to that point first. Let's work hard, get there first.
Yeah, you're US based, right?
Yes.
But you have grown from like 0 to it's just under 25,000 subscribers in just over 6 months. And I noticed, like, from the beginning of your very first video and until the ones you are making today, they have not changed much. They are like you had a pace, or you had like an idea. It seemed like a video style from the beginning. And I have to ask you, is this your first YouTube channel?
It's not my first. I did a YouTube channel based off of NFL football first. That channel had about 30,000 subscribers in like 8 years. So this whole 22,000 in like 7-8 months was something I didn't expect at all. But yeah, I do have a friend that has maybe 200,000 subscribers. So a lot of the pacing and editing style comes from learning a lot from him personally. And that's kind of why my videos haven't changed that much. It was just one of those things where if it's not broke, don't fix it. Pacing works extremely well, at least I think right now. And because of that, I just roll with it. I'll change things, probably add different editing later on. But for right now, things are working very well, and I don't want to stray too far off and I guess ruin the momentum. So if it's working, I'm going to stick with it until it doesn't work anymore, and then I'll start making some adjustments to it.
I think the word momentum, let's get back to that later on. In this podcast, I'd like to talk about like finances and business of running a YouTube. You don't have to share your numbers or anything, but it's just like talking about the things because you want to go full-time, or is like actually already full-time on it, and that's why it is so exciting to talk. But something we need to talk about before talking about finances is we need to talk about haters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a lot of them.
As a gaming creator, and if anyone out there wants to be a gaming creator, it's something that I've experienced as a difference in the gaming space and other spaces, is that I know that you've seen it too. You no matter what you do, you will get haters, and I'd like to hear like your words on how you try and tackle this as a you're not a new creator, but a new creator maybe to hate. I don't expect you've been through the same things as a gaming content creator or as a NFL, let's just say, content creator.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, you need tough skin to be in this space because, you can't please everybody. And once you're able, and that took me a little bit, maybe until the most recent few weeks, I really learned you really can't please everybody. So you're going to get hate no matter what, especially when you're finding success, whether that comes from the viewers who just don't necessarily like your content. Maybe they'll nitpick things. You'll have creators that don't like you for things. You'll have developers that may not like you for things. But I just found, I'll bicker back and forth with people sometimes, just probably out of boredom. But yeah, tough skin's important. You'll have people, they'll nitpick everything. You'll have people, I had people tell me that my voice was annoying, and it's like, I can't control that. I can't control little things like that. And a lot of the nitpicking is, out of your control. And, the other part of it is you may have, let's say 5-10 people that nitpick and leave negative comments or hate on your comments, but then you look and you got 100 positive comments, and it's just, kind of how you try to look at it. I feel like I built a really solid community over on Discord and even just on my YouTube channel, where I have a lot of positive comments and a lot of positive people. And I try to focus as much on that as I can, because if you sit here and you focus too much on the negative comments that come, it's going to get to you eventually. So I try not to focus on it, keep it where it is.
Yeah. I think it's something to do with different niches or genres of creating content. Hi, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It means a lot, especially for a new podcast like mine. Now let's get back to the video. I would also think that if you're a sports content creator and you are creating content for a team or about a team, you would get unnecessarily amounts of hate. But I think gaming has a special place because people are investing so much time in the games themselves, and they are forming opinions about the games themselves. And if you have a different opinion and they like you, let's say they actually like you for 90% of what you do, but then you come with a different opinion about something.
Yep.
I feel like that's the but you need, in my opinion, you need to show opinions when creating content. Otherwise, you're just meh. You'll not talk to anyone, like if you don't talk to someone.
100%. And in our community, I kind of felt like we're such as far as the Lego Fortnite community goes, we're such a small community where the people that voice an opinion are typically just the players. And it feels like sometimes the creators haven't really spoken up much until you had that time where I posted my video calling the game boring, and then you jumped in and posted your video about the game being boring at that current state. And when you post stuff like that, and you give an opinion, you're always going to have people on the other side of that fence. And you just kind of open yourself up to criticism. If you criticize something that they like, you open yourself up. Because, look, I love Lego Fortnite, you love Lego Fortnite, and I'm sure a lot of the people listening do, but we can love the same thing and have different opinions on it without having to drag each other down with that process. If I think that the game is boring in its current state, I say it's boring. I have my reasons for it. Maybe you don't. We're allowed to have two different, perspectives on it. We don't have to hate each other because I think it's boring and you think that it's fun. It's all, how we look at it together,
I also think that there is some sort of, when the viewers know that it might be the truth, but they are trying to cope, then sometimes it hits like what they are actually feeling. I've seen that before. But other things is that I have also a tech channel about doing tech reviews, and I made a video that's one of my most viewed videos. It has 50 or 60% dislikes. But I've tackled this for a million years, but I'm used to it, and I like sometimes to engage in troll baiting. So I'm fine with this. I have thick skin after many years, but I had one of the comments that's fun to me. It's just making a whole entire video of telling why a product is bad. It's an expensive product. And then the comment is, you have a gigantic forehead. It's just
right. Nothing you can do.
So
Nothing you can
okay,
do.
I'll try and shrink it for next time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that problem I had with my voice. I dropped a video talking about could have been anything, and it was like, your voice is annoying. Okay,
okay,
hey, nothing I can do.
I'll use a voice box next time.
Right. Yep.
So then we'll dive into more to like the process of running a channel like this. I'd like to hear your video making process, because you are daily making videos. For anyone who don't view it, I think it's not only weekdays, it's every day you have a video out on your channel.
Yeah.
So let me hear your process from start to finish, scripting and recording, like everything you got.
Okay, yeah. So when I first started the channel, I worked a little bit harder than what I do now. I used to drop a YouTube short and a video every single day consistently. Even till today, I could probably look up the stats. I think I have more YouTube videos uploaded than I do like days of my channel being alive. And that was something that I learned in the space that I was in before, where it was a little bit, I'm not, saying that our space isn't competitive, but it was a little bit more competitive in the fact that everybody was daily uploading. And it was one of those communities where if you missed a day, it was like you no longer exist. Like if they couldn't find you in their subscription feed for that day, they found somebody else, and now you got to really work to pull them back in. So I just kind of brought that work ethic into this community to see how it worked. And I think that paid off. As far as the process, it's tough because early when the game was first out, a little bit easier to pump out videos and come up with ideas where, as the game gets these stale months with no content updates, it gets a little bit harder. I normally do my brainstorming really late at night when you have those crazy thoughts of like, random ideas pop into your head at like 1 a.m. I'm on my phone in my notes section or creating I have a Google document of, man, I think it's up to like 25 different videos that I can create at any point in time and just be ready to send out. But the process isn't that crazy. I'll think of an idea, I'll write it down, and then in the morning I'll wake up, and when I load up Lego Fortnite, I just break my videos down into clips. So it'll be, if, as an example, yesterday's video it had to do with, and at the time of this recording, who knows when this was, but this was when Klombo wasn't yet in the game, but potentially could be coming into the game. I had somebody in my Discord send me a screenshot that Klombo had a keybind in the game. So I was like, okay, I have to base an entire video around this. How do I do it? And then that's where the scripting came in, where it was like, I can show this keybind off, show off how to find the keybind, talk about what we know about Klombo, and then what we can do to prepare for Klombo. So every single clip that was created was, the first clip is, the image of the keybind, and I'll talk over that for a second. Here's an image of what we know about Klombo. I'll do a voiceover of that. And then it's like, when it's time to talk about what we were prepared for, I'll load into Lego Fortnite, and it's like, all right, how do I prepare? Let me show you exactly step by step what I'm going to do. I'll record it, and then I'll, put a few voiceovers on top of it to make sure that, it's clean. So I know a lot of people will record a full video and then try to go back in and chop it all up and add their voiceover after, but I try to just take it one step at a time. It makes it a little bit more simple for me, which makes it easier. If it's simple, it's easy. That's what I like. If I can make the recording process easy, the editing can take a little bit longer, but a little bit, I could put more effort into the editing if the voiceover and, the recording was done a little bit quicker and simpler.
Yeah. Do you script every single word in your videos? No.
None of it. I don't script. No, the only things I've ever scripted was ad reads. If I had an advertisement, I would script that. But as far as my stuff, I just think of it on the fly. And let me tell you, it takes a bunch of voiceovers. And I probably should script things a little bit easier, but I just do it all on the fly, which is sometimes why you'll hear me stutter in a video or, mess up a word. Sometimes I'll call Fall Guys Among Us, and it's just, all off the brain, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I actually thought you were scripting your videos.
Really?
Watching them. Yeah, because me personally, I do not script, and I'm not English native speaker as you are, and
Okay,
I'm saying, but I'm leaning into saying wrong things. Like
okay.
I know that it's not a hindrance. You know, like PewDiePie is Swedish, so or Norwegian. Swedish. I can't actually remember. So why can't anyone succeed? Like you don't have to be native English, in my opinion. I noticed you say ad reads. You did a few of them, but you don't anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. I get. I'm sure that other creators get it as well. I get a ton of them that come to my email, but I try. How do I explain this? I only want to do an ad read that makes sense, not just for myself, but also for the community. Sometimes I'll get an ad read for. How do I explain it? Okay, so I got one for a lightsaber, which was cool, and I that's not something I was necessarily into, but they approached me when the Star Wars update came into Lego Fortnite, and I thought, okay, this sponsorship does make sense, and it actually could do well in the space, and it doesn't make me necessarily look bad for accepting a sponsorship like that when it comes to Star Wars, lightsaber, into Lego Fortnite. I don't look like a sellout for, accepting that. And also it's something that people actually like because people like Star Wars and now it's coming into the game. But I've also gotten approached for like V-Buck websites and, gaming
Those are
chair
scams.
websites. Yeah, exactly. And gaming monitors and just companies I'm not familiar with. And if I'm going to accept a deal like that, I want to make sure that it's not something that my community's not actually going to like. If I don't want to accept a V-Buck website, somebody go and get scammed on it, and then I'm the guy that
It's actually
advertised
also
it.
against terms of service. So you would lose. I just looked into it just for the sake of it. You would actually lose your partnership with Epic.
And I don't want to do that. So so it works out perfectly that I wasn't into the the scamming website anyway. But even outside of them, I mean, I've had gaming monitors approach me, and it's the same exact thing. I just don't want to advertise something that I don't feel like my community is going to like. And I feel like I have a very, I do have a lot of adults in my community, but I also understand that there's a lot of kids in this space. I don't want to advertise a gaming monitor to a kid because number one, it's almost, pointless in a way because that kid can't buy it. But two, it's like, I don't need a monitor anyway. So I don't want to try to accept deals from people where it doesn't make sense. I'm okay with, advertising my creator code, YouTube ad revenue, and if a great sponsor like one of the big names in the communities come through, then I'll take a look at that. But
there's a
smaller
difference
ones,
if it's Asus or something, or it's just something unknown. There's
Exactly.
also a difference in if you had an FPS game with an actual gaming monitor, that would make a difference. But when you're playing something like Lego Fortnite, it might not
Right,
make
it doesn't
such
matter as much. Right.
So it's a
Right.
big difference. You are full-time right now, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes, since the beginning?
No. I started in March. We had my son end of July, and when we had that, it was just kind of like I had to figure out how I was gonna make my girl has a good job, so she wakes up 8 a.m., comes home at 5 p.m. So for me, it was like I have to think of something to do from 5 p.m. and on. So from July until I became full-time in March after a car accident, which I'm okay, obviously. But up until March, it was like she goes to work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm watching him, and then 5 p.m. comes. I'm grabbing my keys. I'm going out, and I'm door dashing or I'm Ubering or doing, anything that I was able to do to make money. So when I first started YouTube, it was last week of December. From last week of December until first week of March, it was waking up with my son, getting a video done while I'm watching him, and he was 5, 6, 7 months old, so he was a baby. And watching him, getting a video done. She comes home at 5. I'm running out because, YouTube doesn't or wasn't at the time paying enough to cover, the bills and help take care of them and get groceries and pay for car payments and everything like that. So this is
But
just in March.
So in March, you ended up at a stage already after 3 months where YouTube was able to pay the bills.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I live in Ohio, which in the United States is a very cheap state.
The meme?
And I mean, the meme is like is real. It's not a bad place to live, but it's very cheap for those out there. I have a 2-bedroom apartment, newly furnished or newly done, $800 a month for 2 people. That's $400 each to pay the rent, and then obviously you have extra bills. So it doesn't cost much to live where I'm at in Ohio. So it made it a little bit easier. If I used to live in New Jersey, which is a few hours away, very expensive to live there. I wouldn't be able to be full-time there. So I'm really only able to be full-time product of where I live, essentially.
I feel like that's something people should take into account, and why it's actually hard for adults to get into content creation, because you are, and that's, I actually have to congratulate you there, because you are doing adult stuff while making a career in content creation. Because
thank you.
That's normally for the kids. They have like 4 or 5 years after school. They can build up the channel, and then when they have to go and get a real job, they can just like buckle down on what they are already doing, while the rest of us has to do it as a side hustle. For me personally, I'm not aiming to go full time at any point, because I'd like to have this as a hobby. It also means that I have no pressure on doing it. So that's also why a message that I want to throw out there is just, there's a lot of things, or a lot of different ways you could do YouTube. You don't have to like depend your livelihood on it, because that's, I have been an entrepreneur, and that's both exciting but also terrifying at the same time. So and I can only imagine being in the US that it's much more so, because you don't have the same safety measures that we do in my country of Denmark. We have like free healthcare, free schools, free everything, right?
Yeah, a little bit tougher here.
But we pay a lot of taxes. So
okay, yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
So going full time, and you talked about momentum. I'm only like, I know from the community seeing your channel and so on, like we've been in the same space. But just for anyone who's watching, like, everyone can look everything up on Social Blade, or like Mr. Beast made a new one called View Stats, I think. I've seen the momentum slow down on your channel. So
that's rough.
It's rough. So are you still able to be at the same, like, are you still comfortable being full-time in this? And what do you see the future here?
It's definitely a little bit tougher. This is so the payment this month is going to be my lowest since becoming full-time, which does make it a little bit tougher. It makes it a little bit scarier. Luckily, like I said, I have a great partner that can help out. So it's one of those things where, my YouTube check will still cover all the bills, but when it comes to all the extra stuff, like, hey, let's go out to dinner this night, let's go do this. Sometimes I have to let her know, like, hey, this wasn't a great month for me. We got to just slow it down just a little bit. It definitely hit, the momentum stung, because and I'm sure we'll talk about bigger goals later, but one of my biggest goals was I wanted to get a YouTube plaque. I wanted to hit 100,000 subscribers, and I would look at Social Blade when the momentum was really high, and I was like, wow, I could hit 100,000 in 364 days, and then here we are like 6 months later, and it's like you could hit 100,000 subscribers in 365 days. It's like, oh, so that didn't even update. That's how slow it got. But I think that the tough part is about a game like what we're on right now is I feel like we just kind of have to ride what it is until we get big updates, and when those updates come, we'll build a little bit more momentum back onto the channel. Like right now, when we had 3 months without, you know, a real big update or an update that got people excited, and those 3 months were downhill. You know, the momentum came to a big screeching halt and made it a little bit tough. Now we're kind of building back up a little bit, and we're you know, getting a little bit back up there, which is nice. But yeah, the unfortunate thing right now is that, you know, the way that my channel operates is it's very heavily based on what's going on in the game, and hopefully I can continue to think of ideas that don't necessarily have to do with the current state of the game and can still bring viewership in even if the game's not performing well. But you know, I still got a lot of brainstorming to do to get to that point, because yeah, the momentum's a big thing with YouTube, and when you have these days where, or these months where, you know, views are down a big time, then it gets a little bit harder personally, because now you got to look at that every day and look at your analytics, and you know, the depression starts to hit a little bit when you're used to seeing a certain amount of views per month, and then it's like a fourth of that like a little bit later, you're like, all right, man, this isn't what I signed up for anymore. So yeah, luckily, like I said, I have a good partner that can help out, but months like this, last 3 months with the momentum going down, makes it harder. But like I said, I just have to have hope for the game going forward that we'll be able to do okay.
Yeah, there is, when you talked, I've been like an entrepreneur. Oh, your camera.
Yeah, good. Sorry,
I'm just wait.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it delays and turns off. I have to press a button and then it fixes it. Sorry.
Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur, and I've been in e-commerce actually for 15 years. Wow. And there is slumps and ups and downs. And there's these slump periods also when you're running a business. It's just like, are we going bankrupt next week? Right. Or something like, just it's always there. Yep. But the good thing about these is like the slump right now is that maybe let's just say that there are an X amount, maybe 30, 40 creators doing Lego Fortnite, and there's not that many that are actually crushing it. But let's just say that every time there's a slump, one of them gives up. So that's every time there's a slump and you survive these slumps. That's what I've learned from at least businesses in e-commerce. Every time there is a down period, every time some country choose to go to troubles with another country, and people in Europe don't want to buy stuff, so that happens, and then you have to just wave the storm, and afterwards there's ups and there's downs. And every time there's a company in YouTube space, there could be a channel that just gives up, or that has to change the way they create content. And every time people survive this, then you are stronger on the other side. That's at least what I've learned, or in my opinion, because just for the context of this, I'm also creating content in the space Lego Fortnite, and personally I'm this close to not create content on Lego Fortnite and try and do something else. And I know that there's a lot of creators like an inch away, and when they start to stray away, and if you keep the path, I could at least say that then you are like staying on it, and they are not. Then they are losing and you're not. So it's sometimes who survives. But I think this also leads to a question that I feel like too few people talk about. I've seen it mentioned in no podcast I follow and so on, is how tough it is to sticking to one game, like versus going for several games, and what the future is for this game, because your channel right now relies on the future, that they are in their hands, Lego Fortnite.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I guess the first part of your question when it comes to other games, it is tough, because I like to play another game called Valorant, and I just play that with a few of my friends and my brother, and I play that just to kind of have like an escape from Lego Fortnite. But I think the difference is that that's like its sole purpose for me is I get a few hours away from Lego Fortnite. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not playing it. I'm not thinking about YouTube ideas. I'm not responding to comments. It's off my brain completely. So when I do come back to think about Lego Fortnite, it's like now I can, lock back in for a few hours, respond to some comments, think of some good ideas, and get back on the horse. I think the biggest thing when it comes to creating content on games like this, as far as what I've learned, is I don't play the game that much. Like, I probably have the lowest amount of game time out of, whatever creators are, uploading. Like, it looks like I upload daily. You would think I'm playing daily. A lot of my videos are news-based, leaks-based, and I'm using old footage that I had and blurring it out in the background, and that's the footage that I'm using. There's days that go by where I don't even touch the game, and I think it's a little bit healthier to, and maybe not for everybody, but at least for myself, it's a little bit healthier that way, because I'm not draining myself of the game by getting on every day, running out of stuff to do. I could get on the game right now and I have a million things to do, but by kind of pushing it off a little bit and taking my time to get on and play and kind of limiting the amount of time that I play just makes it a little bit easier to then make content on the game, which feels really well, or feels a lot better at least. And then the second part of what you said, as far as it relying on them, the reason why I kind of stay on that path, like you mentioned, and not straight away, is because the way that I look at Lego Fortnite is we have $1 billion company in Lego matched up with $1 billion company in Fortnite, and I look at it as they're not going to let this game fail. We might have these really slow months where the game is dragging for players, but at the same time, we have to remember we're 8 months into it, and you could have a huge update in November or October that revives the entire game, and if you strayed off that line a little bit, and I've had this conversation with other creators, if you jump off that line for a little bit and you get out of the algorithm, another creator pops up and you're gone. You're not anything at that point. So, a lot of it is motivating to me to just stay in the algorithm, stay consistent with it, because I don't want to, stray off, and then here comes a huge update, and now I don't get the same viewership that I got because I couldn't upload for, a week or a few weeks, and then now somebody else took over the news or took over the leaks or took over whatever I record videos on. So I just put faith in these $1 billion companies to act like what I expect $1 billion companies to be like and make something successful,
Yeah.
So
I can only say as a Danish person that Lego is a huge company. The headquarters is an hour drive away from where I live.
Wow.
And I actually know a few people working there. That's the marketing for Lego Fortnite hasn't even begun for them yet.
Yeah, it seems that way sometimes. Yeah.
So that's when I talked to them from the marketing department, it was a next year's plan. But what about, like, for people who are maybe working on another game or so on? Do you see a future where, like, at some point maybe you don't, but at some point, will you change your game? Or is this just I'll do this forever and then I will make a new channel maybe when another game comes out, maybe GTA 5 or something, I don't know. Like, when, or will you pivot the channel, or what's the long-term plan for this?
I really haven't thought too long-term, because I really put a lot of trust into what Lego is going to be able to do. I looked at it as though Lego has been a relevant company for as I mean, I was a kid playing with Legos. I'm 28 years old, so I was a few years old playing with them. They're still relevant to this day. They're always adapting and figuring something out. And same as I think with Epic, Fortnite has been a game for 7 years, I think, or 6-7 years. They've been consistently one of the biggest games out there. So I just look at it as, these are two juggernaut companies that should be able to keep things as big for me as they can, but also as big for themselves. I don't think I would really want to pivot. I more so just am hoping that I'm more so hoping and trusting that they add things into this game that allow me to create content that isn't necessarily Lego Fortnite based. Like how people will make a Minecraft video and it's like surviving 100 days verse, and then it's something that has nothing to do with Minecraft because it's a mod that they added into the game. And I think once we can get to that point, I won't have to pivot. But yeah, I haven't thought about pivoting to anything yet because for that reason, I feel like we're still very new in Lego Fortnite, and yeah, I'm sure if you ask me that question a year or two from now, you might get a different answer. But for right now, it's
or you're maybe like more honed in on it, hopefully, because in a year or two the game is still young. When you look at it this way, compare it to Minecraft, was 3 years of beta release. So yeah. As a gaming YouTuber, did you ever consider running a face or a faceless channel, or have you ever considered just for everyone who's watching, you are doing faceless content, and have you ever considered doing one or the other, or is there any reasoning behind doing it?
Yeah, so my channel, if you watch my first few videos, it's all with my face cam in there. And I use that because it made editing a little bit easier. I could zoom in on my camera, I could move my camera from left to right, and I could use it as a tool to hold retention a little bit easier. But what I found was when I would upload these videos, I would get not even negative comments, but I would get comments that would say, hey, your face cam's covering this. And then I would be like, okay, that makes sense. And I'll move it into a space where it's not covering anything. And it'd be like, hey, your face cam's too big. And it was just, I felt like I couldn't ever win when I did that. And at least in the space that we're in, people right now associate the skin that I use in game with me. And I've kind of, Kaz did the same thing. You do the same thing with your, with the skin that you use. And it seems like that is bigger in our space than what a face cam would be at this point. Like you have your skin, people see that in a thumbnail in a game and they're like, hey, that's that YouTuber, which is a little bit, better recognition, I almost think, than having my face cam in there. But I used to have it. Like I said, it just at some points didn't feel like it was necessary to have inside there. And the faceless stuff has done me pretty well since those days. So I just decided, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'll run no face cam until somebody asks, until that gets put on there.
I see both pros and cons by doing it. I actually had a young guy on this podcast a year ago called Yikes. He's blown up since then. He was too young in his parents' mind to be on YouTube. So he made all of his recordings this way down, which was super funny. That was so unique in my opinion. And we actually talked about him ever doing a face reveal, but he wants to go down the path of being like a YouTube celebrity. So that's hard without a face. But Dream is a YouTube celebrity. But but his recording angle for like he always filmed like his feet or in his hands. He was like doing all of the things. I loved it actually. Very funny. That was hard for him, but as a gaming creator, doing faceless content is a billion times easier, in my opinion, than doing with a camera, because you have to like have the lights and like don't look dead in your eyes, and you have to like have some energy and so on. Personally, I've tried, I think in this Lego space, I am the one with the most face cam videos, because I think I tried to do that just to stand out a bit, but I also see the reasoning behind what you're saying. I've seen a content creator called William and Blueprint and so on in Rust, and I've been falling in love with their content. I'm trying to studying it for like a gaming content creator study. William and the other guys in Rust, they make our 2 or 3 hour long videos.
Wow.
It's insane, and I know some of them. It's just like they are telling that it's like 1,000 hours or it's 1,000 gigabytes. I don't remember of footage going into one YouTube video.
Wow.
And I'm trying to like understand how much effort and the how they make this content. But it comes down to story and feeling like you're a part of it. At least that's my research and my opinion after trying to figure out what they are doing. They are telling a story. Of course, they're telling a story when it's an hour-long story. Sometimes it's 2 hours and 3 hour long story. But it's a story where they encounter problems and like they have downs and ups, and then like end up almost always on a high note, or sometimes it goes wrong in the end. But because there's no face cam, at least in my opinion, and it's a first-person game, so you feel like there's a narrator telling a story that you are participating in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the game we are playing, it's a third-person game, and I've seen this. I'm trying to study like all of these things. Third-person games, you tend to feel like the character you're watching is the one with the voice you're listening to.
Right.
And sometimes it's easier to relate to a fictional character, or in the case of Ultima, that you are the character yourself,
right? Or
that you're playing the game and sometimes someone's just narrating that you are there. So I feel like from my studies, like trying to study this, faceless for gaming might be better. In many cases.
Yeah.
But then there is the branding part, where if you ever want to separate yourself from the game, it's almost impossible.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that is the difficult part. I think people that do like videos or play games that have, a reaction is a big part of it. Like an example, you have games like FIFA or Madden or MLB, where maybe you open a pack and your reaction is part of what the video becomes. That you definitely need a face cam for that, because no face cam, it's just a voice.
Those are all face cams.
Yeah, you need a face cam for that. But yeah, like you said, I think that it does make more sense, because now I forget what your the Fortnite skin that you use is, but yeah, when people see Triggerfish, they call it a monkey. Yeah, so when they see Monkey or they see Axel and Kaz or Triggerfish and me, it's like you said, they're seeing the character talking from our perspective, but they're seeing the character talk to them, which is a little bit different than seeing a grown man talk to them or a little kid talking to them. So it makes it a little bit easier for them to kind of almost relate to them and be friendly with them in a way, because it's just a character. It's not a real. You almost don't have to look at it as this is a real person that I'm talking to right now.
Yeah, and you could like have your own imagination on how this person looks, and that's maybe it's your friend's face doing this. Like it's a friendly face in your mind, and.
Right.
Let's just be honest. Some people would think that I look like an idiot or an old man, and some people would think the same about you, or some people would think the same about a 13-year-old. Like, what's this kid talking about? But I think Minecraft creators were the ones to really take this, and I think the style of Lego Fortnite has emulated it, where you turn the character around and you face the screen and talk to it. I would say that's from the Minecraft creators, where
100%.
You talk to the screen as the character.
Yep.
So, but the one thing about face versus faceless is the mother of Lego Fortnite, or father, the Fortnite creators. That's
right.
The only thing where you have this third-person view, where they're not. They're all using faces. Even like my favorite creator, McCreamy, in Fortnite, has started using a face cam. But at the same time, these guys are celebrities. Like, they are the biggest creators on the planet. So I don't know if that counts, but it's funny to study these things and see some games it's just face, and some games is no face.
Now, I wonder if there's some correlation behind when they introduced their face cam. Like, I wonder if you could see that somebody didn't use face cam until they hit like a certain threshold, and then they were like, okay, now I want to introduce my face because of, like you said, brand recognition, expanding out of just what your character is, or if they've used face cam the entire time. Because yeah, I definitely think there was probably a lot of people that didn't do face cam, hit 100,000 or whatever made them feel like they were, you know, they were really up there, and said, okay, I can start putting my face cam in here because, you know, I need to start branching out a little bit more than just being whatever the character is that's inside the game.
I actually know from just the Fortnite creators, the biggest ones, like if you have Typical Gamer, Nick30 and Laserbeam and so on, they all went face cam from the beginning.
Wow.
But Typical Gamer was actually a content creator before Fortnite existed. He was Grand Theft Auto 4 and Fortnite. I think Epic paid him to actually start the first Fortnite video, and then he got hooked, which is a super cool story. I have an idea on why McCreamy is like this is maybe Fortnite nerdy stuff and not as much about content creation, but I think it's because he's one of the next people in line for a skin. So he needs to have it. So he's like when you have Typical Gamer as the obvious next one, then you have the next tiers of like couple of million subscribers with millions of views, and he's in there. And so if you have to have a skin in the game, you need to show your face.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right.
You talked about it like a little bit, but goals, if you have like overarching goals, it could be financial, but it could not be. Do you have, besides the silver plaque, do you have some goals that you are trying to hit on YouTube?
Yeah, well, the financial one is to take care of my family. That would be awesome. That's obviously the biggest goal, is if I can only do this and I could take care of my girl, take care of my son, any future kids, even, hopefully one day make her just stay at home and take care of the kids while I do this. That would be the ultimate goal, a lot harder than, what it can be said. But as far as YouTube goes, the only goal that I truly have is, the silver play button. I literally have a spot on my wall for it where I'm like, okay, if there's any more things that Epic sends me or Lego sends me, I got spots on the wall for that. But I got one area where it's like I have to work hard enough to get that. Like that's the main goal. Outside of that is just basic things. I would love to continue to build the community that I have right now on Discord. I'd love to, be able to keep this family-friendly channel what it is. I don't ever want to try to stray away from that. I don't want to be, and obviously, not disrespectful to them, but I don't want to be as cringy as what Nick A30 is sometimes, but I still want to be like, I still want to be family-friendly, but not over the top like that. Like,
I think he does it on purpose sometimes, but yeah.
Definitely, he definitely leans into it. Yeah. But I would love to be able to keep that and not stray away from that. And that's those are really the biggest things, man. Financially to help my family, silver play button, and then continuing to build an awesome community. Because I think that we're lucky in the community that we have right now, where the negatives are really more so about the game and less about the people that are within it. There's not much drama and arguing and fighting between people that are either creating content or even just people that are playing the game. You'll have your disagreements, but it typically all just stems from the game, and it's not typically personal things. So I think that's a good thing. That means we could have a very, very overwhelmingly positive community once the game really locks and settles in, and we get even more content updates or more updates in general.
Yeah. I think the silver play button is also something it's so widely known today what this is, so that you can, if you have this hanging on your wall, you don't in my opinion, you don't even have to show it in your any videos or something. It's just to show when people are asking why you do YouTube, or like if you say you do YouTube, it's just like you're almost maybe embarrassed to say you do YouTube until you like, oh, I have this validation.
Right.
Like I'm actually good at YouTube. I'm not just like, I feel like it too, because I've been uploading to like the internet since before YouTube existed, and I've been uploading to when I started uploading to YouTube, it was just like not growing YouTube idea things, but
Right.
I've been trying to actively grow a YouTube channel for at least 10 years.
Wow.
And I have no channel that's reached more than 10,000 subscribers. So that's why at some point down the line, I started to not care as much about subscribers and maybe more care about studying what make YouTube work and why it didn't work for me, etc. But the silver plaque for me would be worth more than a lot of money right now.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a trophy. It's like winning a tournament, or winning, a championship in a sport in a way, because you had to work for it. It's not given to you. And especially with YouTube is not easy. So like I said, my first channel was 8 years of work, and I had 30,000 subscribers, which is definitely a lot, but it wasn't, I couldn't even in those 8 years earn this one trophy that they give out to you, which is like, it's not, it is almost, to me, it almost does feel like failing, that I tried to do it, I didn't hit what I wanted to hit, and now it's like, all right, I'm going to restart with something else. And now it's like, I have to hit that goal. I have to get that trophy. I need to have something in my room that says, like, I just, what I mean? When you do YouTube, you want to feel like you did it. Like, like you get, like you said, you get the validation, but you get to feel that reward of, I really did it. I really got this YouTube play button. I really hit 100,000 subscribers, and YouTube themselves sent me something in the mail. Like that makes it, yeah, the money is cool, but let me get that plaque on the wall. That's more important to me than whatever money they'll give.
I feel I'm afraid to say that when that the time come when you get it, that you'll feel nothing.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I feel like chasing it is like, if you done it for a long time as we have, the chase is fun and cool. But I also talked to a lot of people in real world that sold their business, and afterwards just, what now?
Yeah.
It's not the same here, in my opinion, but I built like 7 channels over the 1,000 subscriber mark, and every time I do that, there's like a gap in 3 weeks where I don't post anything, because like, now what? The next goal is like 100K. But I just want to ask if you have anything. What would you say to someone who's starting gaming channel that you've learned in the last 8 months, so they can skip those things?
Yeah. I learned that it's not easy, and failing is part of it. Posting a bad video is part of it. You're gonna have those days, those 10 out of 10s where you thought, this is going to be my biggest video yet, and it's going to flop. It happens. It's happened on a lot of my bigger videos that I put a lot of effort into, and then the videos I didn't care about were 1 out of 10s and did well. So if you were somebody starting off, try to, like we talked about earlier in this, stay on that path, stay on that straight arrow, work hard, be consistent. I think being consistent is probably the most important thing, and try not to overthink your YouTube analytics, because when you take too deep of a look into some of your viewership and you see this video didn't perform as well and this video did, you want to just stay on what you're looking at. You want to make sure that your ideas are the ones that you're focusing on, and try not to stray away from what you want to do, because at the end of the day, it needs to be fun for you too. It can't be all, hey, I need to post this video because this guy did it and it worked. It needs to be, you post the videos that you want to do, and just try to make them the best that you possibly can, so that other people are almost forced to like it because of how well you made that video. So.
That's a great one. And what if you are watching this in a year from now?
Well, if
Or do
I'm
you want
watching
to-
this a year from now, man, I hope that I hit some of the goals that I wanted to, and I hope that I'm still doing the things that I do and have the connections that I have, if not even more. Stayed friends with the people that I've become friendly with in this community and didn't, gain some sort of ego that left people behind. That's a big thing. I want to make sure I stay level-headed and stay friendly with my day one subscribers, stay active in the community, stay responding to comments. And if I didn't do that, I'm not going to be so happy with myself. So
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. If you found this interesting, consider watching my interview with 16-year-old Yikes, who grew very fast at a very young age here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.